You mentioned not a lot of in-state kids on either side. Is it still an effective motivational tool to kind of talk to your team about the in-state first-time opponent and all of that, or is it better to just treat it like another game?
I think we'd be foolish not to understand the magnitude of the first time in the history of both programs that were played. It's in the state. I mean, you can go play Maine if you've never played Maine, and it's not going to have the same effect as Arkansas State. But at the same time, we have to get better. Our team has to get better. We did some really good things, and we've got things to work on. So I think we'll be more concerned about the things we didn't do well, how we can get that fixed, and then we'll have to at some point address what this game means to the state of Arkansas, the importance.
I know we don't expect to see David Oakey this weekend, but are you thinking after this weekend, or what's kind of the status on him?
Well, we have meetings every day, and he was one of the topics for this morning. He seems to be doing really well. He will not be ready this week, but to get him back by Ole Miss, we'll see. But I think there's a possibility. Now, what that is, I don't know, but I think there's more of a possibility that may happen than what I maybe thought last week.
And kind of follow up on that with Antonio Jordan. I think he had the high ankle. Yeah. What's his status?
I think Antonio's going to be, 3 weeks probably from now. It was a non-physical. I mean, foot caught in the ground, and he was trying to catch a ball, but it was a serious high ankle sprain. Those are usually about a 4-week recovery especially at that position. You might can get back a little earlier as an offensive lineman or something like that, but at that position. So I'm still going to tell you probably 3 weeks from today.
And I think after the game you may have said something about Taylor, how you just want him to play football when it comes to decisions to run and when to take hits and everything. Is there a balancing act there of like, hey, you don't want him to take too many hits, stay healthy, after what y'all saw happen last year?
The last year's deal was a fluke. The guy was tripping, or however you want to say it, and hit him low. We want him to be smart. We're trying not to get him to run over people, but we also are on a program where we're really encouraging running out of bounds either. I have 3 clips to show today, 3 of effort, and one of them is 3rd and 11 where he turned up the sideline and stretched out and made the first down. That's how I want him to play, whatever that is, and it inspires the team. I still go back to the Auburn game last year when he hurdled the guy. It inspires the football team, and of course another clip was one of Ashton No. That was incredible, man. I mean, it really was incredible. And then on defense, we had when we got into our 3rd down package, and we had the sack on there, but. We want him to stay healthy because he gives us a chance every week. And but I've always said guys that are playing not to get hurt are also playing not to get drafted, and it's the truth. I mean, that's just, I don't want to get hurt. Well, you don't want to get drafted either, because if that's the main thing on your mind, you're not. You got to go play the football game, and you got to be on video making plays that other people don't, or they're not going to draft you. And so that's kind of how we try to coach all of them. And most listen, some don't get drafted. That's just how it is.
You said you overlapped with Bush Jones for a couple of days at Tennessee and had to talk with him. Did you talk to him about staying there? Or did you kind of already know you got the opportunity at Arkansas, or what was that conversation like?
Well, he had he had a really good offensive line coach at Cincinnati, and so I had figured that he would keep him and or invite him, whatever the word is, and I had 2 meetings set up the next day. Coach Pittman was flying in to talk to me and Jim Chaney, and I had ironically, Tommy Tupperfield had gone to Cincinnati, and I had an interview with Coach. After that, I had the meeting with Brett the next day in the morning, and then headed to Cincinnati that evening to interview for that job. And then Coach Pittman hired me, I don't know, 2 or 3 days after that.
This week, the depth chart for the right side of the offensive line stayed the same. How does Kobe's bright day on Saturday kind of change your take to the open competition on the right side?
And I still think we've got to prepare, like we did. But I think Kobe played well, and but I still think we've got to continue to develop guys that we feel like we can win SEC games with, and so I don't know if there'll be a huge change in how we approach next week than we did last week.
The right side, I mean, Kobe's from Arkansas, Amarian's from Arkansas. I know it maybe might be slim, but have any of the Arkansas guys maybe talked to you, or have you overheard the excitement for them for playing an in-state game like this?
That's a good question. Not as of now. We haven't had our meeting yet, and of course Mondays are cleaning up from Saturday, which is big. We have to take our time to clean all that up. We've got to get better, and then proceed into this week. But no, I haven't seen them, so they haven't. They may, but I haven't seen them, so they have not yet.
Sam, earlier you mentioned that all the pressure is on Arkansas this week for this game, and it seems like it's a scenario where Arkansas State has everything to gain, nothing to lose, and maybe the vice versa for Arkansas. Why did you feel it was important to put Arkansas State on the schedule?
Well, I was asked, and to be honest with you, I was asked my first year here, and it was, we'd like for you to play Arkansas State in 2025 in Little Rock. And to be honest with you, I'd just gotten a job here, and I'd have played anybody. I was the head coach at Arkansas, and then it was 6 years away, and I'm like, well, if I'm still here, it'd be okay. But no, I mean, those are things. Most scheduling things are so far in advance, and you don't really know who you're. If you're scheduling this team at this time, they may be, especially now in the NIL era, the revenue sharing era, they may have changed totally, So, but I was asked, and I said, absolutely, that'd be good. And to be honest with you, I thought that it would be a lot of decisions you make are for the state of Arkansas. I mean, you want to make you do, and I know we let them down at times, and I know at times we make them happy. But I thought it would be good for the state if that happened, and so that's kind of why I said okay. And
real quick, you mentioned the perfect game you guys played in special teams this week. As far as I know, no muff punts, no bad snaps. Every kick was made. What do you contribute to just playing that kind of game, and how much it seems like you guys have improved overall in that area? I think, first of all, having Scott with me for now going on 6 years, that matters. The ones that do return are retaining the verbiage, the expectations. But I also want to say this, you can have the greatest guys on there that can cover a kick. You can have the greatest protection on field goal. You can have the greatest protection on punt. But if you don't have a punter, a kicker, and a returner, you don't have great special teams. You just don't. And
Scott is really good about evaluating kickers and punters. He just is. He's got two of them starting in the NFL right now from here. And, Scott Starsick did a wonderful job as a true freshman out there. Devin Bell is really good at punting. We've got can cover, and Scott went out and got Shanks. Now, he also is a good receiver, but he's also a really good punt returner. So I think those things have helped, and I think Scott deserves a lot of credit for going out and finding the guys that can change special teams, and seemed to hit on the guys that he wants.
You mentioned earlier more production from the defensive line. What specifically do you want to, is it interior, on the edge, overall? Just what do you want to see this week maybe improve?
Well, we just didn't have any production, when you look at it and you look at tackles. And Vaughn may have had the most tackles on the D-line. We need more production. When you look at there and you look at the linebackers, we're not playing downhill. And, we've got to do some things. If that's what it's going to be, we've got to do some things defensively that are moving them. We've got to do some more things because we do have guys that can run in there, but they've got to play better. They've got to get in the right gaps. That's the simplest answer. Be where you're supposed to be. But we saw some flashes, but flashes aren't enough. And so we've got to be physical. We've got to knock people back. Some things and their line was big. Now, I'll give them credit there, but I didn't feel the disruption from the front seven that we should have had, respectfully, with Alabama A&M.
And with Rayner, his escapability, what's the biggest emphasis in practice to make sure those could be sacks do turn into sacks?
Well, we got to get him on the ground. I mean, every time you get back there, you want to knock hell out of the guy. You know what I mean? This one right here, if you do that, he's going to make you miss. Now, you've got to open field tackle the guy in the pocket. I mean, that's what you have to do, because he's proved that it's not just one guy missed him. Now, they had 2 or 3 times when he made 2 or 3 guys miss in the pocket. And so our biggest thing is, if we can get back there, we got to get him on the ground. And that's the knockout shot, or all that kind of stuff that you have when you have a quarterback. You have a flamingo lawn art, back there just standing there. You can knock that guy out, but this ain't the guy. We got to figure out how to get him down on the ground.
Rohan Jones started. I think he came out after the first play, but I don't know if you told me 10 guys were going to catch a pass and one wasn't him.
You say one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, to be perfectly honest with you. To his credit, we did have specific throws for him to be the first read, and for whatever reason didn't work out. But for him, he played extremely hard, did a good job blocking as well. A lot of times you're new, you're coming from another school, you're out here, and all I want to do is catch balls, and if I don't, I'm going to go to the pouting section, wherever that is. He did not do that, and he played extremely hard through. Trey, we think he's really a big-time offensive weapon, and I'm with you. We had talked about that well as a staff, that he's a guy that we feel like certainly is capable of stretching the field and doing some wonderful things. It just didn't happen for him, but it's not because we didn't try to get him the ball, and we have a lot of confidence in him, and I believe he'll get his statistics, his catches over the weeks.